See this here? Let's preserve these fragile earthworks for future generations, but not climbing or walking on them. That's the way it originally looked before they put in this replica. It's concrete, but it would have been a sandbags back there in the day. And that's the view you would have coming down the river back there and then with a monitor come up here in Galena. Standing right here, the cannon or a gun, 1862. This is just replica. It's got the track so it can swivel on. It's got your adjustments back here and everything. It was a well hidden spot, man, I can tell you that. Perfect firing range, it looks like. Just amazing. I thought this was pretty interesting. Used to be a chapel right here, and they had the graveyard right there. All the bodies have been removed and buried in other cemeteries now. Just shows you, said there was it held 150 people. This is where we're standing, right about here, right now, right where the chapel is, what it says up yonder. Now standing near the steeple of the chapel, looking toward the small cemetery in the foreground of the image. Abdul. This here's a little interpretive sign where they talk about making hot shot. It burned through the side of wooden ships, but it didn't work on them the monitor and them ironclads. They never actually used it. They built the furnace, but it never actually got used here. It says the solid shot were heated red hot. Wads of clay, wet clay and hay were inserted, and then the ball. And then when they fired it at the wood ship, sending the sizzling missile could set the whole vessel on fire. But you can see here, this is that's what we're kind of looking in the direction it was looking in at the time, right towards the river. This is the remnants of a caved-in powder magazine here. It's right across from one of them bomb proofs. Kind of give you an idea what it looked like back in at the time it was actually in use. Had a big old cannon right up yonder on the hill. That's the one we just come from a little bit ago. This is where the bomb proof would have been, right over the hill there. Amazing. It's kind of a picture of how it looked back in, what was it, 1862. This here's facing away from the river, looking out to the farmland there. This here's one of them guns that we were actually at earlier. I mean, there's a whole interpretive sign here of one of these bomb proofs here too. They got a bunch of these out here. This is a great place to learn something about a little battle that could have changed the war and ended it 2 years early in 1862 if it had been successful coming up the river. But it's just amazing. And the earthworks around here, my goodness, man. We'll stand down here and see how. I mean, you're talking 10 foot in the air almost down yonder. It's just phenomenal. That bridge I just showed you was what they call the covered way. It's a tunnel running into the fort. That way there they could bring supplies into the fort through the tunnel and avoid the shelling. That's where I was standing at. Evidently this here was a tunnel going right in through here where they could have all your shells and stuff scattered out in yonder. Any kind of supplies they'd need for the fort, they could bring them in from outside and not be hit by shelling. Well, I'm getting ready to go to the house. I've been up here probably about 2 hours, man. If you get a chance and you're up towards Richmond, Chesterfield, Virginia, take a look at it, man. It's about an hour and a half. It's a nice little park. About an amazing skirmish that most people never heard of that could have ended the war early. It's a nice view. we're about 90 feet from the water down there, and they had Confederate soldiers lined all up on the shore here, firing at the tops of them ironclads. They sent about 5 ships up here. 2 of them were monitors, but the Confederates had sunk a bunch of ships across the channel there, so they couldn't get by. And when they stopped, they just started pounding them. Just amazing. And after that, they enlarged this base something fierce. It actually became a small town. It had hospitals, hotels, churches, all kinds of stuff. And then they evacuated the place when Petersburg fell, and then it fell into Union hands, but they were all gone. But it's an amazing little park. I've had a couple of local fellas tell me to come up here, so I figured I'd show up today. It's a beautiful day. It's supposed to be the best weather day of the week this week, so I showed up. And I'm glad I come up here. I've known about it for years, as he never showed up. So, but I don't know a whole lot about history, and I get my facts mixed and twitched and forget things all the time. So you'll have to check me on anything. But if you ever get a chance, man, it's a really it's an impressive little park. It really is. It's not as big as Gettysburg or Appomattox or any of that stuff, but it's really impressive to me. Plus, it's a nice view. But anyways, man, I'm gonna head on back to the truck and get to the house about lunchtime. I gotta fill my gullet. I appreciate you showing up, and appreciate you watching. I try to keep it short, but there's so much here, and a lot of it I didn't get in. But just kind of whet your appetite. You know, maybe check out things in your neck of the woods, man. Whether it's historic or not, it might be something important or interesting to see. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to y'all later.